Welcome to the second video tonight. We're going to talk about my Minnesota Vikings and the draft they had. It was a long one.
17 long.
17. They had 17 picks in all, but they traded a couple and they went down to 15, which is still quite a bit.
Money.
Money. They picked up some good players. I mean, first round, they had 2 first-round draft picks because of the Stephon Diggs trade.
Yep.
And I think they replaced him with Justin Jefferson, wide receiver from LSU. That was their first pick. And then they picked up Jeff Gladney, TCU cornerback, which one of the probably 5 best corners in the draft. So –
it's not bad.
Yeah, so I mean, and they had problems on the back end. They got rid of Xavier Rhodes this past year. He was, I mean, he used to be amazing.
Pro Bowl.
He was
on a Pro Bowl.
I don't get it.
Yeah, Vikings are definitely retooling a little bit. They definitely used this draft very well. I feel in some ways, kind of like we talked about in episode 1 with my Cowboys, you guys filled a lot of needs, but yet picked up talent at the same time.
They did.
You guys didn't go too crazy and you didn't go too far out there with things.
And the good thing is they didn't have to trade. They even traded back a couple times in the draft because people kind of just fell to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
The second round pick, Ezra Cleveland, was one of the top 5 tackles in the draft. A lot of people thought he was going to go in the first round. So so they got help on the O-line. So, and then, I mean, after that, there's a lot of guys. I mean, there's some steals, I guess, but I'm not going to go through everybody.
Right.
I mean, top 3 are your
moneymakers,
main starters. They went defense hard on, because they got a lot of problems on defense right now with depth. So, I mean, I would imagine a lot of these guys are going to work out because
just as a body.
I think so too, and I think it's the right direction to go. You guys had 15 picks.
A lot of needs.
Yeah.
When we were kind of talking about the going into the draft, you guys said you were real low on cap space. Everything was really tight. So
I like it.
By building through the draft, some of those contracts can run out, and then.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys lost a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of people in free agency too.
Well, and there was a lot of rumors too. We were trying to trade for Trent Williams.
That's probably where a couple of those picks would have went.
The rumor is, and I've heard a lot of things. Williams' agent came out and said that he didn't have a problem with going to Minnesota, but he was familiar with the coaches in San Francisco and because of Kyle Shanahan and all that. But I think he probably could have got more from Minnesota, but it is what it is. They don't have to pay him all that money, and they got a tackle that just fell to him. So it's going to be under contract for a cheap deal for the next 4 years.
You gotta go with the financial.
So I don't know. And if we re-sign Anthony Harris, which we franchise tagged him, and they're working on a deal now, that'll be good. And then Dalvin Cook, apparently, I don't know if he's going to hold out because they said they're going to start an off-season virtual program or whatever, and he said he's going to do it. So, and he doesn't have to; it's not mandatory. So,
right.
But overall, I think they had a good draft. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of picks. So, they've always been good about drafting talent in later rounds.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hell, if half years make the team, Dallas only has 7 picks.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's kind of what I was getting at. With the cap space being tight, you have all these picks. Even if only half of them turn out, you're not going to have these big mega deals with these guys.
Huge. But I think they did really well. Like I said, we were talking about the Dallas video. I think they both had really good drafts, and according to some expert people, they all agree, I think. So,
yep.
It's not bad. It is what it is.
So is that it for Vikings?
That's it.
Episode 3.
Right, so We'll see you back for episode 3 talking about Jordan's Ravens.
Ravens.
Peace out.
Peace out.